Alright everybody, welcome to episode 235 of Psykos Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Ooh, that's hot. But hey, I gotta show you something about this coffee mug. I kinda like it. Rolling Stone. Yeah, I found this at Goodwill for 77 cents last week. I found this Three Stooges shirt. Woo 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 woo. Nyah, nyah, nyah. Oh! Nice guy! And you're like, you already shut off, didn't you? I knew you would. I love the Three Stooges. I love all that kind of stuff. Three Stooges, Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy. God, I love all that stuff. Even the Ritz Brothers. It's obscure, I know. So anyways, let me tell you a little story. By the way, thought I'd let you know, once again, thank you for being involved in watching the 500 subs contest. Congrats to Jeff Kempen. Yes, Jeff Kempen won. He already got his prize already. I had a little delay, but I got it to him. Jeff's a good guy. Jeff understood, and I appreciate that. And once again, also thanks to the Elvis Vinyl guy, George, for the VCLT package. That should hopefully be sent out within the next week. I still am having car issues, so I can't get to the post office. So, here's the thing. Story here. Yesterday, this is Sunday, probably won't be going out till Sunday night or Monday, this episode, but yesterday, they had a garage sale next door to where I live. I was getting ready to go pay some bills, and I'm going, I'm like, something screamed in my brain, go to that garage sale. And you know what? I know I'm probably a schizophrenic, just kidding. But when my little voice in my head says, go to something, 90% of the time it pays off, and that's a true story on that. And it didn't disappoint me one bit. I ended up walking away, and I'll show you here, pile of albums and some 78s. That's right, some 78 box sets. So in sort of order, we go like this. I got all my notes here, from the album Renaissance from November 1966 from the Association. Now, this is the front, this is the back, and you know what? I don't know what it is, but I always like the Valiant label. Valiant label's pretty cool. I have Along Comes Mary, and I have Renaissance, I do, but believe it or not, I have an original press of Renaissance. This turns out to be the second press. Like I said, second LP from them on Valiant came out November 66. Jerry Yester from Modern Folk Quartet and future member of the Lovin' Spoonful produced this album. The first pressings have no blurb for No Fair at All. As you can see, this is a second press here. And the second press do, but that song is different between the pressings. So, yeah, No Fair at All, the original press is different because, if I remember correctly, the second pressing, Jim Yester did overdubs, okay, for that. Which is Jerry's brother, was of course in the Association. Believe it or not, though, they kept trying to push for No Fair at All, but it only made it to number 51 on the charts back then, and the album went to number 34. And then, of course, when they ended up going to Warner Brothers in early '67, they reissued the albums under the Warner label. So that I thought kind of cool indeed. Next, we got here. In a past episode of Psykos Platters, we talked about the Beatles' White Album, and I think it was a contest thread or something. Show your White Album covers, which I did do in a previous episode, but you guys are going to roll your eyes at what I found yesterday. There was a handful of Beatles, okay. I guess they kept finding albums because either people bought stuff before me or in between trips, because I did 2 trips to the sale. But there was an Abbey Road that was all screwed up. There was a Magical Mystery Tour. I missed that. I was hoping, I'm like, I hope it wasn't a mono, because I do not know if I have a mono in the collection. But I know, like I said, there was no album or posters or anything in it. They gave this to me for nothing. So why did I grab it? No, it wasn't for the artwork and the tape job. But look what I found. 33,398. In other words, this thing came out Original. First week of November of 68, well, excuse me, came out November 22nd, 68. First week of its release. 33,000? I mean, this is the lowest number I've ever seen, and unfortunately, nice artwork, but the condition of this album is just so poor. I'm like, I was sad. All right, next up. I only have one Chuck Berry album in my collection, but now I've got two. Chuck Berry's Golden Decade. This originally came out in 67. This is a double album. Let's see what the gatefold. Oh, I like the gatefold. I'll show you the gatefold. This, of course, being on chess. I kind of hate this, and I know Doug will too. It says, altered electronically for stereo. Ugh, I hate it when people do that. Now, tell me in the comments, kids, because like I said, I know this came out in 67, but I do not remember if this is the original label to this. Or is this an early 70s chess? I have no clue, because I know that they used that label design in 71. So if somebody could tell me if this is an original label for this Golden Decade, which came out in 67, or is it a reissue? Believe it or not, with Chuck Berry, they actually had 3 different Golden Decades volumes. This one, like I said, from 67. Volume 2 came out in 73, and Volume 3 came out in 74. I've never seen Volume 2 or Volume 3, but I have seen this before. By the way, all these albums, 25 cents a piece. That's right. Oh, did I make a slight killing on them. Next. For the life of me, I know I've got this album, but the reason why I grabbed it, other than I wasn't going to let Bird's Fifth Dimension just sit there, I wasn't going to, front and back, but it's a 2-eye mono. Yes, I was not going to pass it up. It needs cleaning. It's in good shape. But Fifth Dimension came out in July 66. Bird's album, Gene Clark, is on 2 tracks. One of them, of course, being 8 Miles High, which is like my favorite track off of this. Honestly, I love 8 Miles High. And I gotta agree, I can't remember who put the assessment that this sounded like if John Coltrane met psychedelic rock. I think that fits right. Actually, with the pattern on that tune, it's a crazy pattern, but I think that's why I'm entranced with it, honestly. So yeah, he only ends up on 2 tracks because he leaves early in the beginning of the recording of this album. Van Dyke Parks shows up as a guest appearance on 1 track on organ. When the CD reissue comes out, though, okay, Gene ends up being on 5 tracks total because they found more stuff. Number 24 on the Billboard charts, number 27 in the UK. 3 singles came off of this. 8 Miles High made it to number 14. Fifth Dimension was number 44. And Mr. Spaceman, which I like that one, is from number 36. So, Fifth Dimension, I'm happy to have that. I think I had stereo, that's why. This next one, I'm not going to go into heavy detail because I did this in a previous episode. But I kept saying to myself, you know, when I found this album on the second trip, I said, please let this be a red label London. Please let this be a red label London. I found another copy. This makes number 3 of Satanic Majesty's Request. I remember when I couldn't find this damn album for like at least a decade, and then I pop up 3 copies. To me, that's hilarious. Yes, it's a gatefold, but like I said, it does have the original psychedelic swirly sleeve on here. But of course, it's another blue label. I already know who I'm going to give this to. I have a friend of mine, Donna Jo Cat Lady. She's going to get this, I think. I think she'll be happy with that. I got a couple still sealed. Commodore's Greatest Hits originally came out in 1978. I like all the tunes on here. I got to see the Commodores perform once. I want to say it was around 2009-2010 roughly. They came down here to Fayetteville, but sadly it was not Lionel Richie. It was 2 of the original members, along with, for the life of me, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. I'm still working on this first cup of coffee. But he was the singer on the song Night Shift after Lionel left. So it was those 3. They put on a good show. They really, really did. I tried to meet them afterwards, but the security was being a dick. I'm not going to lie. This one here, for you Elvis fans. Yes, I've got an Elvis album for you. Maybe you guys can sort of help me out a little bit. I don't know. But it's still sealed. And I'm going to leave it that way. Elvis sings How Great Thou Art. Now, the original How Great Thou Art came out in November of 67. This would not be on it. It would have been the RCA Victor with the dog logo right around here. So yes, I know it's not an original press. Alright, I looked on ElvisRecords.com. Thank you, ElvisRecords.com. You've been an invaluable? I don't know. Source of information on this here. The hint that of course, that I knew that this was a reissue, and I was actually this, but it also says RE really small in here, so I knew it was a reissue. But saying that, according to that website, this still sealed could not have come out until after 1971. So there's 3 different label variations. This still could be an orange, but it could be a tan, cream, grayish, I don't know, or basic black from 76. This album, though, of course, everything except Crying in the Chapel was recorded from May 25th to May 27th, 1966. Crying was recorded Halloween 1960. Crying was released as a single, though, in April 65 and went to number 3 on the Billboard charts. So I'm kind of happy to have the still sealed Elvis, but I'm not opening it. I think I actually have it's either an original or a orange RCA for that one somewhere here. Okay, I'm not sure if I actually have this one or not. Jefferson Airplane's After Bathing at Baxter's. I like Airplane. This album didn't do... Uh-oh. What are you stuck on? You know what? Yeah, there's water damage. I can tell. That's sad. I'm going to have to take a look, though, because this is an original stereo press. I wish it was mono. But, yeah, the cover is not that great. But like I said, for a quarter, I wasn't going to let this go. Album cover was designed by Ron Cobb. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, great. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I suggest you go look up Ron Cobb. There's an interesting article about him as an individual. He is an interesting character, to say the least. But I will tell you this, he originally started as a Disney animator and worked on Sleeping Beauty in 1957. That's where he got his start from. But this appears to be the only album that he ever designed. I was going to open up the gatefold so you could see the whole thing, but like I said here, this album didn't do really well on the charts. I mean, it did go to 17 Billboard, but as far as for anything is concerned, some people have said this is more of an experimental nature, and I gotta admit, I haven't heard this album except for Ballad of You, Me, and Pooh Neal, which came out to number 42 on the Billboard charts. By the way, I read up on this too, I can't remember where. I guess Baxter was a code name for acid. I didn't know that. So in essence, After Bathing at Baxter's is, I'm told, something like tripping on acid or something. So I'm like, Jefferson Airplane and their drug references. Oh well, can't live without. All right, so I'm almost done with this. Okay, next one here. A Date with the Everly Brothers came out in October 1960. Most of this LP was recorded in July of 60. Love Hurts was on this, but it never was released as a single. That was kind of a big mistake. Roy Orbison ended up taking that one to the charts pretty good. And Kathy's Clown, number 1 in May of 60, front and back. Somebody scribbled on there their name in January of 64 for when they got this, or at least owned it. But this is a mono Warner copy. Needs a little cleaning, but it's good. And then last on the LP front here, Tommy James and the Shondells, I Think We're Alone Now, also containing Mirage. This album here, it says here, I want to give you a look. This is the second pressing, by the way. This is the front and this is the back. This is on Roulette Records. The first press has a controversial cover because it's 2 sets of footprints that go straight and then eventually face each other. In other words, they're necking or making out or doing something like that. Oh boy, the things they thought were controversy back in 67, I don't know. But it says here, though, the one I want to ring up here is that Tommy James and the original Shondells, because there were several different versions of Shondells, they came out with Hanky Panky in 62 out in Niles, Michigan area on the Snap label. But by 66, there already was 2 lineup changes. And in '66, due to unexpected fortunate events in the Pittsburgh market, when Hanky Panky shot up, it was really crazy in April of '66, Tommy goes out there and hires a band out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania called the Rockin' Tours. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And basically christens them as the new Shondells. By July, though, 2 members were already out and replaced by Eddie Gray and Peter Lucia on drums. Only 2 members from that Rockin' Tours lineup actually end up on this album, Mike Vale and Ron Rossman. Shondells stick around till early 1970, where them and Tommy kind of split up. They turned into the band Hog Heaven and put 2 albums out by 1972. This album here made it to number 74 on the charts. I Think We're Alone Now made it to number 14. Number 14. Yeah, number 14, I guess. That's what I got written. Mirage is number 10, and I Like the Way at number 25. So I always got a kick out of Tommy James and the Shondells. I like their sound. I like the bubblegum sound. Ooh, this is near minty. Very nice. This is actually the first Tommy James I've got other than the greatest hits. So, the last thing I want to throw at you here for records is I ended up finding some beautiful Norman Granz Jazz at the Philharmonic 78 series. This is, like I said, these are beautiful. These are on Mercury Records. I'm not going to tear up everything here, but I will tell you though, these are 378 series. This came out in 1947. It was recorded at Carnegie Hall, September 27, 1947, literally 20 years to the day before my birth. Hank Jones, J.D. Jones, Ray Brown, Howard McGee, Flip Phillips again, we've brought him up before, Bill Harris, and Illinois Jacquet all perform at Jazz at the Philharmonic Volume 8. Volume 9 I also acquired. I got the whole box sets for $0.25 apiece. But this one came out in 1949, and the lineup on this particular one here, see once again Mercury, you've got Ray Brown, Hank Jones, Howard McGee, Flip Phillips, Illinois Jacquet, Bill Harrison, Joe Jones. That's what I mentioned, not J.D. And it looks like here it says, somebody stamped, it's funny, it says it's Porter's for Records from Findlay. I don't know where that's at, but that's where this came from Findlay. Very happy to have those. I've got several different volumes of the Norman Granz stuff, individualized and in the sets, which is nice. Hey, Mean Mr. Mayo, if you're watching this, I'm going to show you one thing. For all you other people that dig on Connie Francis, I ended up finding this at the library. Yeah, my town library. Somebody put this out as a new book. It says, Among My Souvenirs, The Real Story, Volume 1, front and back. She's gorgeous. She's just so gorgeous. She's still gorgeous. I don't know. I understand why you like her, Joe. I really, really do. I'm trying to think here, though. This came out, okay, in 2017. Maybe you know about this. Maybe you know about this. I didn't, though. Here's some pictures from this. I'm not done reading it, though, yet, but I wanted to show you guys. So, Connie Francis with a new book from 17. Alright, guys. So, you know, thank you for listening. No new subs this week. I'm at 587. Maybe I'll do a contest if we hit 600. So, like and sub, please. Because I already got a question in my noggin already as to what I'd like to do next. But, commercial-wise, Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark, 6 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on WVOA 87.7. You can listen out of Syracuse, New York, through the Uber stations, along with right after that, Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams from 9 to 10 p. Central Standard. You know what? Also, though, too, as an additional flair, go listen to This Is Rock and Roll Radio with Carl and Dana. I know it's been a while since I promoted them, too. It's a shift of an hour. It's 7 to 10? No, 7 to 10 or 8 to 11. Go like them on Facebook, all their pages, and you'll be able to listen. It's been a few weeks since I've listened to their show. Doug Fields, hey, Vinyl Grotto, how about a new show? That'd be kind of nice pretty soon. He's in good spirits, though. He's in good spirits, my friend. Tim Smith, 30 Music Collectors Group. Always fun to see those videos. I did see one recently with him, and I know he just took a trip to Michigan, him and his family, recently, which is nice. Maybe he came across some good stuff there too. Hey, let me ask you something else while I'm at it. Tell me in the comments. I mean, it's not records, but I will tell you this. I ended up snagging yesterday some 1960s Silver Age DC comics. Would you, after I bag and board them, would you love to see them? Because I'll tell you, I found some good ones. Man, oh man, I have to tell you the story on that if you want. So I know it's not records, but I thought I'd throw at least some nice collectibles to you on a different video or something. So you take care, God bless, rock on, and see you next time, indeed.